After Monday Night Football, the big question in everyone's mind is, are the Baltimore Ravens good enough to win the Super Bowl? And the answer is they're not good enough to make it to the AFC Championship. Outside of Lamar Jackson, this team is a disaster. Their offensive line is really bad, their wide receiving core is worse, and the defense is just a problem. It's not good. It's a bad problem to have. Starting up front on the offensive line, they allowed 30 pressures against the Detroit Lions and 7 sacks on Lamar Jackson. The main culprit of this was the right side of the offensive line, the side of the line that had the biggest question mark entering the season as they lost their best right side offensive lineman, Patrick McCarry, to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were hoping that Rosengarten and the Minnesota offensive lineman from the Gophers were going to be good enough to anchor this right side? And the answer was quite clearly no, they are not even close to it. Entering the season, I should say, outside of Aiden Hutchinson, there was a big question about how good, or not even how good, but who's going to be playing opposite of Hutchinson at the edge rushing position and how good are they going to be? And the answer was Marcus Davenport, which was an answer that not many people were comfortable with. There was a big question mark about how good he was going to be because he hasn't really shown it in his career. And then he went down with an injury before this game against the Baltimore Ravens. So their backup, a 30-year-old journeyman, Muhammad, came in to be that edge rusher. And not to discredit him, but he should not be getting 2.5 sacks on Lamar Jackson. It shouldn't happen. He's mobile, he can scramble, he's dynamic, but yet here we are. Lamar was pressured 30 times. Muhammad had 2.5 sacks, and the Lions had 7 total sacks on Lamar Jackson. This offensive line for Baltimore couldn't stop me from sacking Lamar Jackson. They were just struggling, especially on the right side of the football. They couldn't stop anyone on that side. And you can make the argument that about 3 of those sacks were coverage sacks. And I'd agree with you. They were coverage sacks. But 4 sacks, 30 pressures at that point, still not good enough. That's not an offensive line that's going to get you the Super Bowl. That's not an offensive line that's going to stop Chris Jones from getting to Lamar Jackson. That's not an offensive line that's going to stop Ed Oliver from getting to Lamar Jackson. That's an offensive line that's going to struggle against good teams, which it has the past couple of games. Struggled against the Cleveland Browns with Myles Garrett up there. They struggled against the Buffalo Bills in week 1. They struggled, obviously, even more than ever before week 3 against the Detroit Lions. But going to that remark about the coverage sacks, 3 of them were coverage sacks. And to me, it wasn't because the Lions have this all-world secondary. It's great. Don't get me wrong. Brian Branch is really good. I love the DJ Reed signing. Kirby Joseph has shown signs of being a good safety. That's why he got paid. Taron Arnold, first rounder. He likes to hold, but still, first rounder for a reason. But it wasn't because they were just world beaters, right? It was because this Ravens wide receiver core is the worst in the National Football League, and that's not an exaggeration. Their wide receiver one is Zay Flowers. They drafted him in 2023 out of Boston College to be the speed demon, and that he is. He's a speed threat. But no other NFL team is he a wide receiver one. He's not even close to it. Jacoby Myers is better than him at wide receiver one. He's a good wide receiver, but he's not wide receiver one worthy, and it's going to hold back this Ravens team. And for those who want to say, well, Lamar, he's going to elevate this squad. I mean, he has, but even the best quarterbacks have really good wide receiver options. You look at the Bengals with Joe Burrow, right? When he's healthy, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to throw the ball to. When you look at the Los Angeles Chargers, Ladd McConkey's been great. Quentin Johnston's taken a step. Keenan Allen looks like prime Keenan Allen. Had Baker Mayfield somehow, someway played himself into the top 5 quarterback conversations because of his receiving core. He has Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Mecca Ibuka. Look at Patrick Mahomes right now. He is struggling. This offense is struggling. Why? Is it because Mahomes is a bad quarterback? No. Is he elevating the team? Yeah, I'd say he elevated the team to a win over the New York Giants. But why is he struggling? It's because Xavier Worthy is hurt and Rashee Rice is suspended. I guarantee you by week 7, this is going to be a completely new look offense because this receiving core is going to help one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen become better because he has viable options. It's just the name of the game. It doesn't matter how great you are, whether you're Andrew Luck, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. If you don't have receivers to throw the ball to, like Lamar Jackson, you're not going to win as many football games. It's going to take away the balanced attack you can provide with Derrick Henry and Lamar in the backfield. And it's just a receiving core that you can't rely on to come up clutch in the crucial moments in the fourth quarter when there's 5 minutes left. You can't rely on these guys. Zay Flowers, the wide receiver one, since entering the league, only has one 1,000 yard season. He's played 2 seasons and 3 weeks now in the NFL, and nearly half of his games that he's played, 17 NFL games that he's played, he's had 50 receiving yards or less. He is not wide receiver one worthy. He's just not good enough to get the job done. Their big acquisition this offseason was a 33-year-old DeAndre Hopkins, who to me is nothing more than a Nelson Aguilar replacement. Nelson Aguilar was this guy who somehow, some way scored a touchdown or had a big 20-yard catch. He either had one catch for 20 yards or one catch for a touchdown every game. And that's what D-Hop has provided so far. He had a big catch on the outside where he kept his feet in, just kind of held still and caught a 30-yard pass for the first down. He had another big catch week one against Buffalo, but that's all he is. He's going to replace Nelson Aguilar. This is a receiving core that has no receivers that are capable of being an X factor, who can take a step up, who you can count on, who can relieve some pressure on the running game of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. This is a receiving core that is not great. And somehow Lamar, just to show you how great Lamar Jackson is, since 2023, since they got this quote unquote wide receiver one in Zay Flowers, he is still sixth in passing yards at 8,572. He is second in yards per attempt at 8.5. He is second in passing touchdowns at 74, and he has the least amount of interceptions among starting quarterbacks at 11 interceptions since 2023. That's not including how good he is at running the ball, how mobile he is, how good he is at scrambling. Point being, this receiving core is going to hold back this offense tremendously. And my last just problem with this Ravens team, the way they neglected Derrick Henry. They didn't give him the ball, right? With 9 minutes left in the third quarter, so 24 minutes of game time left, Derrick Henry already carried the ball two-thirds the amount of times he was going to carry it. He had 8 carries. He finished with 12. He had 8 carries at that point in time. You don't not give Derrick Henry the ball, okay? He had a 28-yard touchdown run the opening drive, and all of a sudden he just doesn't get the ball. That doesn't make no sense to me. It makes no sense to me at all. At the 1 yard line, they went 4 and out, right? At the 1 yard line, the Lions had a great goal line stand. But to me, it's bad play calling on Todd Monken. Derrick Henry's 230, or excuse me, 250, 6'3", and the best running back we've seen in the past decade, one of the best running backs of all time. And you don't hand him the ball 4 times in a row. Like, I know Lamar is special. I know he's someone you're gonna trust, okay? But in no way, shape, or form should you not just hand the ball 4 times to Derrick Henry to run down the middle. I thought the third and goal decision was too cute, where he runs outside. I mean, the Lions have 3 jacked, really talented linebackers: Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, that can get to Derrick Henry, can keep up with him on the outside. But when he's just running straight down the middle, you can't stop for 1 yard. I mean, you really can't. You really can't stop him. I thought that was a terrible decision. Fourth and goal, they didn't give him the ball. I thought that was a terrible decision. And then not handing him the ball the majority of the game in the second half was another terrible decision, because it wasn't like this was a two-score game where, well, they had to throw themselves into it. It was a one-score game the entire time, and they just stopped handing it off. And if you want to come up with the excuse of, well, he fumbled it, Matt, and he fumbled it against the Lions, okay? That's a stupid excuse, because he fumbled with 3 minutes left in the game. You don't start thinking about fumbles. You don't let that seep into your head until it happens, all right? And to me, he just stopped giving him the ball because he just didn't want to run it, which is stupid, especially when you have a bad receiving core. How do you somehow free them up? By establishing the run, making the Lions put more players in the box. And the Ravens didn't do that. So that's why they lost. But also, the first two reasons I said about this offense struggling, the receiving core and their O-line, it's gonna be what holds them back from being a contender. On the flip side of the ball, the defense, geez, the defense was awful against the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff threw for over 200 yards. The Lions ran for over 240 yards. David Montgomery had 151 yards rushing, over 12 yards per carry, and a touchdown. The interior of this Lions offensive line is young, right? Graham Glasnow is a new center filling in for the retired great Pro Bowler Frank Ragnow. Tate Ratledge is a rookie right guard. Christian Mahogany, the second-year left guard from BC. It's a young offensive line interior that's trying to kind of form in real time. But they were handling the Baltimore Ravens like it was no big deal. Travis Jones was just getting one-on-one, right? It didn't matter. Graham Glasnow was just holding up, blocking him, one man on him. And then it allowed Tate Ratledge or Christian Mahogany, the guards, to just get up to the second level with no problem and just block Roquan Smith with ease, block the rookie from Cal with ease, and open up these giant gaps that again I could run through. I'm not an NFL running back, and I could run for 30 yards because of how big these gaps were. I mean, they freaking had Moses parting the Red Sea on the football field, essentially. All in all, the offensive line handled Baltimore's defense. And sure, I'll give credit to the Lions for building a good O line up, but to me, it was more telling about just this Ravens team is not good. They're not good in the defense. The secondary was getting burnt. Marlon Humphrey on the 4th and 3 that ended the game. He held Amon-Ra St. Brown, so even if that ball sailed over his head, which it didn't, it was a beautiful pass by Goff. They were still getting the first down because of the holding. Awuzie is not as good as he was when he was a Bengal, and he's a second outside corner opposite of Nate Wiggins. Can Nate Wiggins take a jump in the second year? Malachi Starks, he's a rookie. Can he kind of round into form? Marlon Humphrey's 29. Is he going to get better? Jair Alexander, when he's back, is he going to get hurt again? There's a lot of questions, and quite frankly, this defense just it's not good. It's not good, or at least it's going to get better. I do think it's going to get better, right? It's going to be a better defense. That's why they're going to win games. That's why they're going to probably get to double-digit victories in the regular season. They will, but it's not a championship caliber defense. And for those who want to say, well, Matson, well, wait, they're going to get Kyle Van Noy back. They didn't have Madubuike in the game, one of the best defensive linemen, D tackles in the NFL. He was there against the Bills, okay? And James Cook still ran right over the Baltimore Ravens defensive line, okay? So my point is, even when he's healthy, which again, I hope that he comes back just like his old self, just like I'd hope with Kyle Van Noy, just like hope with any player, there's no timetable for his return, okay? Because it's a neck injury, you don't want to risk that. This defense is going to, they struggled with him. They struggled without him, and they're going to continue to struggle even more mightily without him. Going to the Kyle Van Noy equation, their inability to generate a pass rush was awful, and I don't think Van Noy is going to answer that. He's over 33 years old, and he's an edge rusher coming off an injury. Like that doesn't to me that doesn't scream, oh, he's going to be good now. He's going to like come back like his old self. This isn't an Aiden Hutchinson situation where he's in his early 20s. This guy's past his 30s, and players naturally decline unless you're Calais Campbell at that point on the defense side of the ball. And I just don't see Van Noy being the answer to that. And I didn't really like some of the schemes that were being played defensively where they're dropping some of the edge rushers in coverage. I don't know what was going on there, but all in all, I know they played the Bills. I know they played the Browns, who have a great defense. And I know they played the Detroit Lions, okay? And these are great teams. So the numbers you can say, well, Matson, they're going to get better when they play worse teams. But we're talking about, are they a Super Bowl contender? All right. Do I expect the Ravens to beat, the Dolphins every any day of the week, right? That's what you expect when you have a great quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Just like I expect the Bengals to be able to do that when they have Joe Burrow healthy. But when it comes down to can they beat the best of the best, the Ravens have already shown you, they've shown me that they can't. And even when they have Madubuike, even when they have Kyle Van Noy back, they won't be able to win because they don't have the receivers to do it. They don't have the stability on the right side to do it. And the defense is struggling. I mean, they are allowing the most yards per game in the NFL. They're giving up the second most points per game in the NFL, only behind the Miami Dolphins, who are giving up 32.3. The Ravens are giving up 32 points per game. This is a team that is not built outside Lamar Jackson. They're not built to make it to even the AFC Championship game, let alone win the Super Bowl. Let me know what you guys think. What do the Ravens need to do to improve? How can they improve? Can they improve midseason? I mean, maybe they have to go after Tyreek Hill. Honestly, I think they need to get a receiver in the fold, a genuine, true wide receiver one in the fold to really make noise. So maybe that is Tyreek Hill. But let me know what you guys think. What should the Ravens do? Can they get better? Please like, subscribe, comment, and thank you so much for watching.